Okay, Coach, you guys are 2 days into practice after a couple months off from fall ball. How are things going so far?
Good. Just starting early. I mean, guys stayed in shape. They kept their arms in shape, pitchers especially. Everybody's looking good right now. And, I mean, just getting underway, it's hard to tell where we're at, but we're definitely not where we need to be. We have work to do, and we're going to get there. It's going to be on myself and Coach Bowman to him to get his staff ready and myself to get everybody else's bats ready to go. Opening weekend against Bemidji and Mankato, which is two very good teams in our conference, and we need to be ready to go.
What have you guys been working on so far? One thing, a nice addition is that you guys have a indoor facility now with hitting cages. So, kind of, what has been the practice schedule so far?
All in the mornings. We've always done our work in the mornings in our baseball program. We get up, we get it done. Guys go to class. There's no conflicts with classes, and it's just kind of been pitchers are throwing their pens. They just threw their first pens today. I think they're at like 50 pitches. The starters are going to go tomorrow. I think they're going to be up to about 55, 60. And hopefully by game week, we get them ready to go and we can get them to 100, 110 and without having to worry about them. But if anybody's showing any signs of needing longer, then we'll definitely watch their arms and take care of them and definitely not overuse them. We're going to need everybody in our staff all year long. We can't afford an injury. So that's going to be kind of big for us. And as far as everybody else, I mean, we're doing over all our plays. We're able to get inside, lay down a full infield, and get everything done. So it's a nice situation to have, and we definitely get everything done we need to during the winter.
Speaking of your pitchers, you lost a couple mainstays with Brady Knowles graduating, who's the USF's career leader in appearances and innings pitched, and Chris Nichols, who, went from starter to closer and was signed with the Philadelphia Phillies in the summer. I know it's early, but kind of how are the new arms looking, and what do you think in terms of rotation?
As far as rotation goes, that's still up in the air. I mean, you got your front runners that should be there and solidify those spots, but they're not there yet. It's all about how they prove themselves now leading in. Derek Fisher should be there. Noah Coleman should be up there. Eric Brothers should be there. And Steve Schreier, Henry Ojeda. I mean, we have some arms that are good. There's a few that I'm not naming right now, but I mean, there's a lot of guys that can jump in the starting rotation. Dylan Rock's a young freshman out of Brandon. I mean, he's looked good. If he can get some more consistency down, I think maybe he'll see a lot more time out of the pen and maybe even earn a starting role once in a while to see where we're at. So it's gonna be interesting how everything goes. I mean, Andrew Christensen's another one, our only lefty. He's going to be a big spot for us. He's coming out of the pen and then starting once in a while. He's going to be a huge asset to our program this season, especially as the only lefty as well. So as far as losing Brady Knowles, I mean, you can't replace guys like that. I mean, he was a workhorse for us all 4 years, and to just replace him the year after, I think is unrealistic. So it's going to be interesting to see who kind of tries to start taking over that role, but I'm not expecting anybody to just jump in and take over what he has done for us. And then Chris Nichols, we're excited to see him go to the draft and forego his senior season and get started in professional baseball. It was good for the program. It's good for Chris. We couldn't be happier for him. And best luck to him. I mean, he's actually been around kind of throwing with us, just trying to get ready for his deal. So it's been fun having him around and knowing that we actually had somebody get drafted and with the Phillies. And again, can't really replace a guy like that right away. So it's going to take some time to get those guys done. But I think replacing two guys with 5 or 6, I think we started in the right direction.
You mentioned Eric Brothers. I know when he came in as a freshman, he was known more as a fireballer, and you guys sort of toned him down and started working on control. Where's his progression at this point?
It's a lot better. He was a lot better in the fall. We kind of shut him down early. He threw a lot this summer, and we just wanted to kind of tone him down a little bit in the fall, give him some rest, and watch his arm that way. And he's been looking good. We kind of shut him down to about probably like 80%, 90%. And he hasn't really gone all out yet. And tomorrow's going to be his first day actually getting into it. So we're going to see how he reacts. We're hoping for the best, obviously, but his arm should be live, ready to go. He says he's feeling great. All his work up to now has been good, a lot better control from last year. So he might not be throwing as hard, but he'll definitely be a little bit more controllable and more efficient.
Going around the horn, another missing piece from the last 2 seasons is your first baseman, third baseman, kind of your slugger, and Jimmy Maxwell, who also just signed a professional baseball contract. Where's your power going to come from this year? Jimmy was a guy that team leader in doubles the last 2 seasons, and if not for a hand injury, he might have set a single-season home run record.
Yeah, and losing Maxwell is a big loss to our power numbers. Our slugging percentage is not going to be very high. I mean, our power numbers coming from this lineup is really it's going to be minimal. We're going to be a team that's going to be pretty scrappy on the bases. We're going to be aggressive. I mean, there's a lot of guys on my team right now have the green light to steal whenever they feel like. It's going to be exciting to watch us. It's just not going to be exciting the fact that you see balls going 450 feet like you saw from Jimmy. So it's going to be a little bit different of excitement this year for us, and we're just going to hope for the best. I mean, Kelby Bestie is a kid that we tried to replace for him at first, but again, you can't replace Maxwell right away. Kelby's a sophomore. He's got the same build as Maxwell did, the same type of potential Maxwell had. So hopefully Kelby can get going and jump in right now as a sophomore and be a 3-year guy for us. And by the time he's a junior or senior, hopefully maybe he can do something as good as Maxwell was able to do.
Preseason rankings came out today for the conference, and USF was slated 12th, and it's no surprise Mankato was number 1, being the defending champions. What are your initial thoughts looking at the poll?
It's kind of what we expected. I mean, we're new to the conference, and we'll just see kind of how that all plays out. I just don't know. Mankato's a very good team. I think they're runners-up last year in the nation, so they're rightfully in that top spot. I mean, there's some very good teams in our conference, and anybody can really make that tournament, and it's just something we're trying to do this year. So being 12th is just a number, and so we don't really look at that much, and we'll see how it kind of works out at the end of the year.
It has to be a boost of confidence looking back to last season, where 2 of your wins came. You had one against Augustana, and then you guys picked up one against Mankato. So the guys already know that they can compete against 2 of the top 4 teams in the conference.
Well, Augie, they know a little bit about us. I mean, so that's always big. It's a rivalry game. You never can really tell what's going to come out of those things. You throw talent kind of out the window, records out the window, and it's just, I mean, two schools within 2 blocks, and you're going to have some competition and some rivalry. So you never know what can happen out of those games. Those are always going to be good games. A couple got away from us last year. Hopefully we can try to keep it close with them this year. With Mankato, I mean, I think Mankato didn't know much about us at all. It's the first time we've ever really played them, since I've been here at least, and I don't think we've ever played them before. So I think we might have caught them a little bit off guard, but they kind of get right back to us. So it'll be exciting opening up with them that opening weekend and seeing how we kind of compare with the best team in our conference.
Your 2 players that were picked as the players to watch at NSIC were a couple of upperclassmen and junior right-hander Derek Fisher and redshirt senior Corey Vasquez. A lot of people know about Derek after last season, but Corey's kind of been off the radar for a year for the redshirt. So kind of what is it about those 2 that makes them special and players to watch this season?
Derek, I mean, for a team that wins 10 games, and he was a part of 7 of them, I believe. I mean, you have to kind of keep an eye on a type like that. And he keeps us in every single game that he's on the mound. Even out of the pen, he keeps us where we need to be. And as a starting role, he's going to be mainly a starting role this year, which is my hopes. As long as we don't have any injuries happen, we have to use him. But he's definitely a guy to keep an eye on. I mean, he keeps us in everything, like I said. And if we can just get him some run support and play some solid defense behind him, I think we'll be fine, and he'll have another great year as a junior. With Corey, he's like another coach on the field actually playing. I mean, and him being in the role of the catcher, it's even better. I mean, he runs the game. He calls his own game. He does everything on his own, and he has that trust from us. And he redshirted last year, just simple fact that he wanted to compete in the postseason and get ready for this inaugural season for the NSIC, and I think he's excited to go. I mean, we're excited to see what he can do for us.
Talk briefly about your first 4 games. You guys get to do something pretty special going up to the Dome.
Yeah, Metrodome is always fun. We open up against Bemidji, and that's a 6 a.m. game, so it's one of those things where you play at some odd times, but our guys are going to be ready to go. They're not going to look at the time and worry about that, make that an excuse or anything. So Bemidji's going to be an outstanding team, and we got to come ready to go. They're going to be ready, and then when we turn around and have Mankato the next day for a doubleheader, and again, it's the best team in our conference, and I think they're pretty high up in the national poll as well. So, I mean, it's going to be tough. We're going to get thrown in right away, and we got to be ready to go.